Yeah, we need to talk about that.
The Hubble telescope has taken pictures of Father's divine cities. There's more than one, believe me. They're all over the multiverse because the divine cities bring with them everything Father needs to change bad places into good places. He brings law enforcement. We're talking divine law enforcement. His own military. He's got court systems, buildings. It's just like it is on earth. And people are like, they can't believe it. But even your own Bible says, as above, so below. As on earth, so it is in the heavens. So why is this a big surprise to people when it's finally happening? And they're frightened. They knew that the divine city was coming, so they were trying with Project Radiance and a few other ones to blot out the majority of the energetic power of the sun, because all of these beings that serve Father, if you can imagine a whole cadre of beings dressed in white, they look like they're white and gold, like the ancient Roman days almost, with the golden sandals and the golden swords and everything. These are divine beings that serve in Father's court system. There is a divine court system. Just like in the old days, if you went to visit a king, you would have to go to court. Well, now if you go to court, some judge is sitting there representing supposedly the divine power, but it's not, because they're in black robes.
And here's another thing.
It's satanic. Our whole system here is satanic. And Father's coming to replace it with the divine city that is traveling with him, heading towards this planet. No, it's not Nibiru that's coming that everyone was afraid of. They're Satanists. That's what they're telling you. The end of the world is coming. Well, yeah, for them the end of the world is coming. Not us. We're the good guys, remember? We're the good beings.
See, everybody always thought Nibiru was going to come and you were going to see all these horrible things going on. Well, that may have been true because in some ways they would have deceived you with Nibiru too, because remember, we have Project Bluebeam that is about to begin.
Yes, now, they want you to actually attack the divine people that are beings that will be coming here to save the earth, that are working on it already. Some of them work with the Alliance. So you don't think there aren't level... what do you call them? Fifth and sixth and seventh, and even up to eighth dimensional beings.
To the ninth dimension.
We know the Oceanics are eighth dimension.
Yeah, but some of the beings coming are
ninth dimension,
even higher. There are others. You have to understand something. The brothers that are here now, the Hopi brother prophecies, the red and blue Kachina, they're judges. I don't know whether you guys realize that, but these are judges.
They have been forcing the separation of the paint, as Gatheon says, because we asked him many years ago what was going to happen. And the answer he gave us, and it kind of perplexed us for a while, is that there will be a separation of the paint. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, paint? What, we're going to have new Sherman-Williams opening up down the street or something? Or
no.
But what he meant, though, it was thick and viscous like blood. And there were different colors of blood. Even now, they have television programs and fantasy specials showing you people. Like, I'm watching one now called Outpost, where this girl is a black blood, right? So we're talking about different radiances of color that represent different things. And Father's divine light is moving closer and closer to this planet. And his city is right behind him, because the city is going to help process our claims to the court. We are going to be we're going to become benefactors of the things that we have earned. And all of this is taking place because we have won our court case and Father is on the way. But they actually held a divine court like they always do with everything.
Yeah, let me explain something to you guys. The same kind of judicial system that we have here on Earth, where do you think that came from? It didn't just drop out of the sky.
Well, actually, it may have.
Well, it sort of.
It sort of did, really.
I want to remind you that the Anunnaki taught us a lot of things, okay? They taught us how to build. They taught us how to have government. They taught us how to raise animals. If you've ever read some of the books, now I'm not telling you that Zachariah Sitchin was telling you all the truth.
Yeah, I call him Zachariah Sitchin,
because
but
I would say
jacking everyone off. That's what.
About 50% of what's in that book is truth.
Hey, okay? Ryan, what are you doing?
So, with the book, it teaches you to understand that the animals we were given, like sheep, were given to us from these beings, and they gave us the how to live, how to raise animals, and so they taught us everything that we know.
I would answer, but I don't want to talk over it.
No. I mean, we're
just talking.
We talked. Victoria, everyone else talked. We said we didn't want to censor anything. I mean, if something is happening. If you're walking by and you want to join us, because you're becoming more attuned every day. You're actually starting to channel a little bit, I've noticed, just a tiny bit. Well, you think of it more as goofing around, but I'm telling you, there are times you've said things that you don't even remember saying. At least that's what you've told us. And assuming that you're being honest with us, you're at the correct age, and you certainly have the right genetics between your mother and father. You don't think that some of this stuff is beginning to unlock you. You think you're going crazy sometimes. This is beyond just the accident. We want you to know that. When you were in that accident, there was another reason why you were in that accident. Okay, and another reason why you came back, because you've been gifted a power by Father. You just haven't figured it out yet. Yeah. And part of the reason why you feel like you're going cuckoo sometimes, other than being locked down in your house all the damn time, which is utterly ridiculous. That's going to be dealt with soon, too. All those COVID idiots, they won't find a place to hide a rock deep enough, because that is about to come to an end, people. So don't worry too much about that. But you got to stand up and stop wearing masks unless they're going to throw you in jail or something. Even then, the whole world is being cleansed. This is not just going to be Germany anymore, or Russia anymore, or America anymore. I want Ryan to understand this, because I think he's starting to get some of this stuff here. And it's starting to click with him, and now he's thinking differently, and we're glad to see it. Because that's what we want to happen to you guys, okay? We want you to listen to us, because we're telling you the truth, okay? You know we're telling you the truth, even though even your common sense might say, well, I don't know, but everything they've said is coming true, and boy, they've been right about everything, and hey, listen, take your own advice, okay? If we tell you that Father is on his way, we've shown you images, pictures, things that they've been trying to suppress. The Hubble telescope, for goodness sake. You think they put it up there to look at galaxies? Give me a break. They knew that this was a potential. They're fearful on this planet because they're breaking the laws.
Yes.
They've been breaking the laws. They're like moonshiners that are trying to hide the earth, so when the feds come along, they won't see the big still and the smoke spilling out, right? Uh-oh, revenuers, here they come.
Exactly. So we've got this situation going on right now where one of Father's great cities is, entering our solar
traveling
system
towards us like Atlantis, right?
Okay. And on that great city, he has judges. He has the angelic realm.
He's got armies.
He's got armies.
He has clerks and people that take notes and scribes, and it's like you wouldn't even believe it. It's like ancient Egypt, but everything's beautiful, everything glowing.
And I used to wonder, I'd have these repeated dreams, night after night after night, and I would see the angelic realm around these great cliff faces. They were on one of the damn cities. I used to think, where do they go? I used to watch them dive bomb off the top of these cliff faces and go straight down, and I thought, where are they going? They were on the city, and they were watching over the city and protecting it, and occasionally I would see them just fly off and down underneath. So anyway, one of those cities is on its way.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Ryan?
I think to a lot of people that sounds insane, but I can tell you as someone who thought you guys were also a little cuckoo.
Well, we are a little cuckoo. There's no question about it, but we're telling the truth. That's the difference.
Me and Hunter were at a point where we just thought that maybe the solitude got to you guys, and me and him thought about it a little more. Maybe maybe these spirits aren't real. Maybe Steven's just a load of horse shit. So.
Hey, listen, kiss my ass, buddy.
But
Jesus, I hate when they say that shit.
Yeah.
Look, we're real beings here. We just overshadow your father from time to time, and
I know, and I was skeptical about that for a while until I actually saw and met Sam.
But let me ask you an important question. Have you at any time during your life ever heard your parents say that they made any of this crap up, or that this was all, something they fabricated, or you heard them saying, yeah, we're going to pretend to do these kind of things? And have you ever heard them say anything like that?
Honestly speaking, no.
So obviously they believe it, right? Maybe even if you and Hunter initially didn't believe it, and because believe me, they didn't push this on you. They didn't want to. I know I was there for some of it anyhow. But, you remember the days of Sadif and, the Queen of Derry. He was great for the kids. Different beings of the collective have interacted with your family at different times because those were the right choices, the right beings that would come to you. And I'm glad that you finally understand this. I'm sorry that it took a car accident that damn near killed you as well.
But the thing is, I never totally disbelieved in you guys. It's just I was always...
Thank you. At least we were given the benefit of the doubt. And that's how it should have been in the household. Actually, that's how it should be in any household, that you should at least be willing to listen. If your kid comes up to you and says, Mom, there's a dark boogeyman in the closet, don't go, yes, dear, that's nice, what a great imagination, and turn your back on that child to leave her face that demon in that fucking closet, because if it's real, your ass just committed some terrible act that father at some point's going to go, excuse me, why weren't you protecting your kids? And look at you.
Yeah, well, this stuff goes on. That's what we're telling you. Yeah. When your 9-year-old comes into your room at night and says to you, Mommy, there's somebody under my bed and he's trying to get me out. He's grabbing the sheets. Okay, Mom, Dad, your child...
It usually is telling the truth.
It's telling you the truth. Now,
at least from their perspective, right?
I want to say something that is very important about this. Last night, I watched that Mel Gibson movie, Signs. I don't know if you guys...
you guys used to watch it. Hunter and Ryan watched that movie probably 100 times.
Yeah.
They just would, like, little kids, and, when the monster would, like, go by the door or something, they'd be like, but there is significance in this movie. You tell them.
Yeah, I want to mention something. His 5-year-old daughter had water all around the house, cups of water. And she would say, it's contaminated. I can taste, it's got other things in it. It's got amoebas in it. This was a 5-year-old, okay? She was already using her gifts. But she also knew something else, that when these beings came, that having water around the house would protect them. And now, we've told you before that water is a conduit. There were a lot of things going on in that movie last night that I watched for the first time in 20 years, and they also talked about the harvest.
Yeah, they talked about the harvest. You should find that thing with Chief Longbow when he did that thing on water.
On water, yeah.
That was beautiful, and a lot of people, they liked it. That was with the magazine they do. But that was really neat. Hey, shut up. I'm trying to talk here. Shut up.
But
the thing is telling me to shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't need that BS because I was sitting here trying to say something.
Well, go ahead and say something.
I forgot. Shut up. Here you go.
So what I want to say is that if you guys get an opportunity, there are 2 movies I'm going to encourage you to watch that were done about 20 years ago. The Signs with Mel Gibson in it. Watch the movie because the crop symbols that you see are also, they tell you what they are in the movie. They are locations. They're mappings. And they were showing up all over the world. Well, as you know, they're not just in England anymore. They're showing up in parts of Europe, in France. These crop symbols are showing up everywhere.
Hi, this is Aya again. I wanted to say something since you brought up the crop symbol thing. I hope you forgive me, Ariel. But I wanted to explain to you all exactly what crop signs are. A very small percentage of them are created by people
with sticks and boards and, but there are so many imperfections that it's obvious it was manufactured. Many of them are actually done with an energy weapon beam that simply forces a reversal in gravity that causes all of the, what do you want to call it, whatever the crop is growing, to bend over at a certain angle because gravity has suddenly been altered in those areas. And what that does is it actually compresses these things down. But because it's done with energy, you can actually get down on your hands and knees and measure the exactness of and the preciseness that it's done with different types of laser-based weapons that are on either platforms that exist around your planet or are done from other alien spacecraft that simply hover over the area in a state of invisibility with cloaking devices, and they program whatever they want, whatever message they are told to send. Many of these messages are from the Federation and or other rogue agents that support messaging because they are not telling you what is going to happen, so these beings are, and agents of the Federation are. So they leave certain markings that are indicative of like a four-dimensional pictograph. But it would be compressed into 3 dimensions because obviously that's all you can express currently in your environment, which is why they're spraying everywhere. Because as these particles atomize, they take up a location and they begin to hover in your environment, and eventually electrical energy can be broadcast through different connections, which allows certain imageries to form and become real and manifest in your reality that can then express their manifestation upon your planet. In other words, they're spraying and terraforming the area so that certain biogenetic beings will be able to be returned to the Earth, many of which will be good, some of which will not be, because unfortunately when you unpack these kind of genetic, energetic creations, what happens is some of the bad is packed in with the good, so you got to kind of filtrate through it. So what's going on is your entire world is being terraformed through chemtrailing.
Yeah.
With this terraforming, this constant atomized cloud that is all around your planet, things can be projected into it. So think of it as like a white projector screen being pulled down so that you can show a movie on a projection screen. That's the same thing that it is, except it's multidimensional, of course, because it represents a 3-dimensional area instead of a 2-dimensional area that you're used to seeing.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
All right. The 2 movies that we're talking about, the one was Signs, okay? The next one was The Happening, or Happening. And that had Nicolas Cage in it. At the end of the movie, the plasma started dropping before the main catastrophes happened. People are seeing plasma dropping all over the world now.
And I say déjà vu. And I say that for a reason. Because in another movie called The Matrix, you recall, when the black cat, who, by the way, looks like Zoe, your cat.
Yeah.
Beautiful little kitty she is. Wonderful. I was talking to her today in the ancient language. She actually understands. She's been overshadowed already.
She's a temple cat.
Yes, I was impressed. You've already had her overshadowed. Wonderful.
Oh,
yes, you can do that with your cats. You can even leave energy on them so they can protect your home.
No, the ancient being that overshadowed Zoe was an Egyptian temple cat.
Wonderful. Well, that explains her behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is definitely behaves that way.
So what does this plasma mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Think of it, I say déjà vu because of this reason. And that is, in The Matrix, when the little kitty walked by, and then there was like a flicker, and you could see that the kitty kind of backed up a bit and then continued forward, like a disruption in The Matrix. Well, they explained it that a déjà vu was an overwrite of The Matrix because something unusual or something powerful or something terrible was about to happen. That's how the agents of the Matrix could overwrite things. Well, plasma is also used as a projective medium, and the atmosphere must be saturated within the area that the plasma strikes in order for certain beings to manifest, more powerful robotic beings that can either take on humanoid form, very much like the Terminator series, not the first one, but the one with the Terminator Queen, that had liquid metal on her outer skeleton and could shape and mold into different things. And so it's like a combination of that, because these are what you would refer to as highly advanced nanotechnology. They can form, and they're controlled by an artificial intelligence that is actually embedded in another dimension that moves with all of this simultaneously on another dimension. That's how the cloud is controlled. But they can only exist in certain areas that have been overwritten with either the mixture of barium and salts and everything else, the aluminum. It allows them a projective medium to manifest into. Otherwise, their energy would just pass right through the earth. But this will actually catch their energy now, and it allows it to be open, and the plasma, when it strikes a certain area, will actually charge the area to allow larger manifestations of changes that have taken place in your stratosphere and or on the surface of the Earth. Some of the events are actually happening underneath the Earth right now. So you're getting plasmic discharges from operational time shift variant machines that are being used along with the time length converter machines that I was explaining earlier to Ryan, because Ryan asked about time travel and I had to give him my discussion about how it all works, and that there are beings on your planet that have time length converters that can function up to 3 days, where they can move forward or backward in time. But you see, as their time frame and or their timeline begins to collapse, there's only so much further in the future or past that they will be allowed to go. It's because as you lose control of your timeline, your control bubble around it shrinks. And this gets into physics and some other things, but essentially, like a warp bubble can be formed, the same thing happens in a time rift, and the warp bubble will continue to shrink as your opportunities to continue to thrive on that timeline are reduced. For example, the reptilians. Right. That have had their timeline reduced and reduced and reduced, because this is a war, right? And one of the ways you attack your enemies is through time. I mean, if you had advantage of that kind of weapon, would you not use it as well?
That's right. They're finding it hard to go forward and change the future because they've done it too many times now.
And as we know, a lot of people believe you can go back into the past and change the future by altering the past. That can only be done there's certain restrictions and within a certain time frame. So if I were to alter the past, there is a limit on how far that past will be altered. So, for example, if I did go back in time and I did shoot Adolf Hitler as a child or something terrible like that, he would have died, right? Well, then all of a sudden there's no Adolf Hitler. But there would have been another individual that would have come along within 4 to 5 days that would actually have some kind of parallelity to Hitler and would then assume his mantle, because the way the universe works, you don't have to play a role forever. It's sort of like being elected a politician, like a governor. You have a certain period of time that you serve, and when that time is done, you step down and someone else steps in. These are how the positions of many of the gods of the universe are played, except for the original powers that Father has anointed and appointed. And you may already be anointed right now. And you may be in the process of going through a divine appointment, because guess what? Father's going to be here shortly, and so will his divine city, and you can begin to then ask or plead to the court that you are a human being and you want your rights. Now, some of these are going to be established automatically, so you won't have to do anything. But if you want to specifically apply to the court, like I'm going to do for the Kelly family, I'm going to apply directly to the court so that they, if they wish to leave off planet, can access the fact that they are now federales, welcome to the Federation, baby. That's what I would say. But once that happens, you have that ability, you see, then you can apply to and or use the court system to your advantage, because it has already been decided that you are to be awarded generous damages, including compensatory and punitive damages that are going to be going out not only to the reptilian race that will have to bear part of this pronouncement, but for generations they may be enslaved now and may have to work back on the behalf of the human race. So they may be placed upon another planet where they're required to manufacture products that will then be sent to you. Oh, there's so many different things Father can do.
Oh, and, for the really, really bad ones that have been very naughty, Father will just probably take their genetics back and start again.
Yes.
Because he doesn't get rid of anybody.
Skippers.
Mud skippers. Well, that was their original DNA. So, according to Father, for those that he feels at this time are not worth saving, he will renew them. And that's what they're really afraid of. Because when you get to be a certain age, imagine the amount of wisdom and the amount of knowledge.
This is precisely what they did to the human race.
That's what they did to us. They did exactly that to us. We were ancients. We have family. I want to tell you guys that some of you have your family out there fighting on your behalf, saying we want them back. Because the reptilians lied to the Federation for so long, saying that you weren't here. No, we don't know that being. We've never seen that soul. They were lying for so long that there were others in the Federation who helped them cover that lie. I'm telling you right now, Star Wars actually exists, and the Federation actually exists, and the stuff that you saw on the movies where they were fighting and there was in-house bickering, that's going on right now because the reptilians have lied about this planet for so long, and there were others in the Federation who hid their lies. So now family members are coming to find out that their loved ones have been kept here as slaves on this planet for thousands of years. How angry would you be? And they're demanding that something be done. And if they're not going to do it, then some of this family is not going to wait much longer. So you have family who are fighting on your behalf that you probably don't even know exist. And it's amazing and wonderful because they're coming to get you. They're going to take you home at some point very soon. And with Father's City coming, well, the judges are there to hear these cases. They're here to see the families that say, my sister or my wife's down there, I want them back. This is what's going on right now.
Beautifully said, Aradil. And this is going to be a really, really good one here. You may want to consider making this one of those YouTube or BitChute videos or whatever you call it. But maybe, perhaps. But anyhow, I just wanted to agree with everything you're saying, and that many good things are coming your way, people. Many, many good things. It may not seem like it, the old cliche, darkest before the dawn kind of scenario. Yes, there's still some power. They're going to hang on to their power, scraping on the way down as they go, and they're going to try and bring down as much of humanity before that moment happens. But that moment is very, very close. Yeah. You will see this happen sometime, probably within the next year, and then the great reveal will come within 2 years of that time, once your monetary currency situation is reestablished, once the earth is secure, once the reveals begin, many good things will begin to follow very shortly. So
I think that's about it. I'll put it together and we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, have a good day. And remember, what you're hearing here is the truth. So I'll say bye-bye. Bye.